Hey everybody, Tom Barnes, stories from the 78. I had a really great story here happening in October, first day of October. Did I get that right, Corey?
That is correct.
So I'm joined by Corey Coleman here, and Corey, you're a high-ranking member of Decompose. Why don't you explain what that group is, and then talk about the event happening here in Chicago on the 1st of October?
Yeah, sure thing. So, Decompose is a Black chamber music collective based right here out of Chicago, comprised of all Black musicians, and we exclusively perform the works of Black composers. So, really, what our goal is to do is to redefine and reimagine the classical music experience and make it reflective of Black culture. And we do that through multidisciplinary collaborations, various community performances, and really figuring out ways to meet the community where they are and making sure more people know about the works of Black composers.
Right, which is a big deal because, Black composers and Black influence in music has been around since the dawn of time. But a lot of those musicians that are in the music industry now or performing at orchestras and what have you, there's only a small percentage of musicians. Yeah, was it something like 2%? Something that like out. I mean, I couldn't believe the stats on that.
That is correct. 2.3% of American orchestras are comprised of Black musicians. And really, with Decompose, we really want to challenge that statistic and really promote that greater visibility of Black classical musicians because they've been there, they've always been there, and it's really about amplifying that visibility.
Yeah, I think for folks who are maybe big rock and rollers, a perfect example of that would be maybe Elvis Presley, who had many hits, but some of his hits were written by Black artists that were blues hits, and Elvis did them. And then, the way, the world was back then, he shook his hips and had that voice and made these songs massive. A lot of people didn't know that Elvis didn't write a lot of his own music. They were either songs, they were covers, or people wrote for him. But that's like one small microcosm of what that is. And I just think it's something that a lot of folks don't know. And before we move any further, I want to say, like, I was on your website for Decompose, and I love what it said. It said, Decompose, a Black chamber music collective, exists to ensure that we never forget it. And I just love that. I think it's great because I do feel that we need to know exactly the proper history, not one that people like to remember, and give people their due. Sometimes maybe 30 years or 50 years or 70 years after they should have been given their due, but at least you guys are recognizing it now with this performance you have coming up here on the first. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, so on the first, we are so excited to be making our Harris Theater debut
Hmm.
with their Mix at Six program, and we'll be collaborating with bass baritone vocalist Davóne Tines and his band The Truth for their
Hmm.
show Robeson, which is all about celebrating the life and music of Paul Robeson. What audiences could expect to hear is reimaginings and reinterpretations of Paul Robeson's work. So you'll hear gospel influences, spiritual influences, classical influences, performed by all of us. And really, we just want you to know that rich depth and history of this composer and singer that a lot of people don't know about. One of the other exciting things about this show is composer Ahmed Al Abaca, Chicago based composer, will be creating original arrangements for you to hear that music that'll be performed by the string quartet. So we definitely want more people to know about Paul Robeson from attending this show. So that's what's happening October 1st.
It sounds like a whole party, a gamut of music because Paul did so much of the music, right? Like, what are the things you're looking forward to the most?
I think what I'm looking forward to is hearing not only the music that we're familiar with Paul Robeson, but even other elements that might be new to us. But I think I'm also excited to hear Devon's interpretation of Paul Robeson. This program in concert is almost like a passing of the baton.
Hmm.
Paul Robeson was a very famous bass baritone, but Devon Tines is a bass baritone vocalist on the rise. So it's going to be really interesting to see these two different legacies kind of coming together. So I'm just excited to see it all kind of just come to life and really just shining a light on this historical figure while also celebrating the present and the future.
Is there something about the work of Robeson that you want people to know? Like if they're listening to this right now and they're on the fence whether or not they want, because everything costs money to go and travel. Like what in your eyes is that thing that you're like you didn't know this, but here it is, and that's the reason why to be here.
I would say Paul Robeson's work was really deeply rooted in Black culture and the Black musical contributions. You're not going to just hear classical music. I think so much music is also inspired by the Black church and Black spirituals. So it really is a way to look like at a multifaceted artist. And I think that's what I'm most excited about is to see that breadth and depth of the music that he features. He's not just in one genre. You'll hear but a little bit of everything with Paul Robeson.
And this happens Tuesday, October 1st, at the Auditorium Theater. Is that right?
At the Harris Theater,
Harris Theater. I'm sorry.
yes, well, we're
My bad.
part of their Mix at Six series on October 1st. So it's perfect timing for those people who are getting off work and just want something kind of fun to do afterwards. So looking forward to that.
How long do you think the show will last about?
Yeah, so the show is a little over maybe an hour, so nice and kind of quick, a great
Yeah,
introduction. So you can still have your dinner right afterwards.
for sure. So 6 o'clock it starts, or is that when doors open?
It starts at 6 p.m.
So you got to be there promptly. So
Yep.
maybe probably 5:30 doors are opening up there to get you in, get your cocktail, get you set, and enjoy this time travel story about just going back and seeing and hearing all of these influences of Black culture in American society and global society, really,
Yes.
because that's what it is, right? So, Corey, thank you so much for taking time to chat with me. Where can people get tickets for this event and other things that you guys have coming up later on this year, next year, and so on and so forth?
Yeah, so you can get tickets for this event at harristheaterchicago.org. It should be featured right on that homepage. So to buy tickets under their Mix at Six series, and the show is entitled Robeson, an Electro Gospel Acid Trip. And then for more information on Decompose, you could visit decompose.com. That's DCOMPOSED.com. And on there, you'll find all of our events. And I also encourage you to sign up for our newsletter so you don't miss out what's coming up.
Corey, it's been absolutely pleasure talking to you today. We just met for the first time about a few minutes ago. I didn't even ask because I always ask this. What part of the city am I talking to you from?
So currently I'm in the West Loop. I am at work. So yeah.
Nice. Okay. Well, I thank you for taking time throughout your day to do this. I feel like this is such an important event just for people who love music and history and
Yes.
those two things together. So good on you with Decomposed. Look forward to more things that your organization does to enrich our city. So thank you again for taking time to chat with me.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.